All right, what is up, everybody? Shell Scout 0013 here, reporting in for some news in a Legion transmission from Atomic Mass Games. This time, the Imperial Dark Troopers are revealed, and I kind of wanted to go over that and two different lists involving them now that we have everything inputted into the Legion HQ. Thank you, Fifth Trooper, by the way. The Fifth Trooper Network, awesome. I'm not, have nothing affiliated with them or anything like that, but I use almost all their stuff. And so it's great to kind of see and, have them updating everything there. But okay. So we'll go ahead and get a few housekeeping stuff out of the way. If you haven't already, head to the Patreon and subscribe now for Clan of Shadows. The link down in the description below. I've got at least one person right now. Woo! And it's absolutely awesome to have him in here. And I will, go ahead and start the process of showing you guys exactly who is in there at the end with a little visual. And yeah, so it's awesome that this has already kind of got a person and he's getting some VIP treatment at the moment. Now I've given, at least an Anakin list strategy. And what I'm trying to do with this is break down just one list. I want to give like a strategy behind it, and I want to kind of go over the reason why I picked those things and have this, and maybe like the turns to use the cards and whatnot. And, I'm not necessarily a guard player, so I'm just kind of spitballing a bunch of stuff that I know that how the things work and the synergies behind the list. Now, it was kind of unorganized a little if you watch it. And so a little bit of feedback on what you guys kind of want covered, because I'm just kind of spitballing some things and, why I put it together and whatnot. So that's why I'm saying if you guys want to comment below, who are Patreon users, Kitsune, obviously, thank you so much for your support. And, this video is basically for him. And yeah, so if you haven't already, go ahead and join the Patreon. And, if you've got anything that you want to know or talk about, you guys are the VIPs. And if you haven't already, go ahead and head to the Discord. It's been growing. I love to see the amount of people that are on here. And I love to see that the people you guys are talking about just hobby stuff, Jane and asking questions, Zvezda Kasser, maybe. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it. I appreciate it. And then Emperor Atlantis and everyone else. SE is at one. Yeah, the Chosen One 66. It's awesome to see you guys giving all the advice and helping each other out. And, I love seeing all the guys who consistently post. You guys make this. And so I'm very, very appreciative. And then if you haven't already, if you want some workouts and you are trying to build some muscle and you're trying to, get some big ol' arms, $15 a month gives you 3, 4, 5, and 6 day a week workout plans that are all 3 months long. So you're basically covered all the time, giving you another whole corrective exercise program in case you've got issues with your back, your glutes, your shoulders, anything that you've had issues with. The corrective exercise program is there to help. And then 30 minutes, if you only have 30 minutes and you're short on time, there's definitely at least 2 months worth of programs for you. And at home abs and core, any future stuff I get, there's 120 recipes, ways to track your progress, and coaching videos just to keep you guys successful in the gym and working on yourselves. Also, if you haven't already, I am doing a giveaway for this month. And you have to be a subscriber, you have to like this video, and you have to leave a comment down below in order to be submitted. But I will have the drawing at, I guess, the very first week of February. I'll probably do it on that Thursday, that first week, and announce who the winner is. But you have to leave a comment, like, and be a subscriber to be entered to win that $20 gift card. All right, so let's get into it. So the Dark Troopers have now come out. We've kind of seen a little bit about them from earlier on when they were revealed, and yeah, we'll go ahead and say that we'll go and talk to them about them. Sorry, there's 3 of them in the unit. Period. Like, if you had them naked, there's 3. They all have 2 health each. The courage value is blank because they are not going to gain suppression, and their courage value is unlimited. Which I've heard, and this has been brought up in other streams, that if maybe Moff Gideon dies somehow early on, and you have to nominate a commander, they are a droid trooper with a courage value. So couldn't you just nominate them and then have infinite courage? this is such a good possibility. But yeah, that's amazing if that is true, and you could do that. Then, oh my gosh, fantastic. Then you could just probably even bring a generic commander at that point and have your Imperial Dark Troopers in there. And I mean, they're not going to benefit from, the entourage and get the order to begin with, but it doesn't matter because they each get 2 orders anyway from Unstoppable. But yeah, if you were to be able to nominate these guys as your commander, you are set, especially with the new suppression rules. They do have armor, so you know you are rolling red dice for only crits. So crits have to go through. You're only allowed to move once per activation, so they get to 2 order tokens, so they'll be able to go 2 different times, but they're only still allowed to move once, and they only move speed 1. So they're going to be really, really slow, but you still get 2 movements in a whole round. So that's not that bad. And then 2 speed 1 moves, I think, are a little bit farther than a speed 2. So, and the fact that you're going to be able to go twice and probably still shoot twice is, insane. They are unconcerned, so they're not going to benefit from cover, and you're not going to be able to restore them. So no Delmicos, no medical or not medical droids, astromechs, nothing like that can be used to bring anyone back. So that's kind of a tough one, but it just kind of depends. I mean, you can have an up to possible 12 health unit. So yeah, these guys can be pretty intimidating. And then unstoppable. So this unit is eligible to activate during the activation phase while it has one or few order or face down order tokens. So this unit may never have more than one face up order token. And then when you're creating your order pool, you're going to add an additional order token corresponding to this unit's rank. So if they do become, I guess, commander, you'll have 2 commander tokens in there. But yes, you'll have 2 heavy tokens per one of these units. So if you have 2 of them, you're going to have 4 of the tokens in your bag, which is great. Now you can't have them have an order token face up and then draw from the bag and get a heavy and then use them. You can only have that 1 order token face up per time. They shoot at range 1 to 3, a black dice. They don't surge, but still there's a pretty good chance of a hit coming up. Their crushing punch is for sure probably crushing, and it's a red and a white, which is awesome. And even though they don't surge, those red dice, when you have 3, that's already 6 dice that you're rolling, and then you add another 2 heavy, and then possibly the what's it called, the myrtleizer, just get murked. It's murked, but murked now, myrtle. Sorry. All right. And so yeah, they've got a program that doesn't have to be upgraded. They don't have the keyword that says they have to have the program, so you don't technically need it. But yeah, it's just kind of up to you. But let's go ahead and look at them real fast. So we get the XS for Assault Cannon, which is 4 black dice at range 1 to 3, and it's critical 1. So not bad. You're already going to be rolling with the 7 dice because you've got the 3 naked in there, and then the 4 here, and that's just with 1 upgrade. You do another upgrade, and then you've got 10 dice altogether that you're rolling, and then maybe you add the Dark Trooper, that's 11 dice. 12 health, man, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, so let's look at the SM9 frag launcher. So it's not a rocket launcher, it's just a frag launcher. So it's not as far, it's not like range 2 to 4, it's just range 1 to 2. So with them being super slow and then them only having a range 1 to 2 weapon, kind of sucks. But then when you remember Moff Gideon's 2 pip, they'll be able to move anywhere depending on what unit you decide to give an order to, and we'll kind of talk about that in just a second too, or in a minute. But it's got blast, impact, and cycle, which is really, really nice to have because it exhausts. So you probably won't be able to have your order token and then use the frag launcher and it's exhausted now. And then when you redraw another heavy and use them again, it's still the same turn, still the same round. So you're not going to be able to necessarily have it cycled. So yeah, you'll just have to recover and maybe shoot again if you wanted to. But yeah, it's going to cycle on its own. So you're just probably going to use a black dice at range 1 to 3 for it. So not that bad, but it does have that blast, which is really, really, really good. And then you've got the myrtleizer. You've got the what everyone is calling the cricket bat. So I'm just going to call it the myrtleizer, the myrt. It is suppressive melee. So, whenever you swing, and regardless if you do any damage, they're going to gain a suppression while you're in melee, which is really nice, depending on who you're going after as well. Because then if you're going after probably someone who's almost panicked and now they are panicked, then that's going to prevent them from doing anything to the Dark Troopers, or giving them a suppression just in general is really nice to give them one less action if they are a core and they don't roll it off. So you never know. I just like it, in general. You have the Imperial Dark Trooper just personnel, which is still 32 points and is an extra black dice and an extra red and white in melee. So it's just an extra body to have, which is cool, but it's already going to be a very expensive unit. So, I mean, maybe you just take this by itself to save points, but at the same time, you might as well spend 4 extra points for the Myrtleizer and get it and whatnot. So, yeah, there's plenty of good combinations. We'll see what kind of the best is, and if you can save points and cut points on them because they're still going to be that good, hopefully, then maybe you do just go with the Imperial Dark Trooper to get more in there. But in my opinion, you're going to want at least 2 of these heavy units in your army. If you're going to take them, I would recommend at least 2 of them. 3 of them you can have because of Entourage. Entourage is not going to, their rank is not going to count as what it has to be in there because of that keyword. So you technically can just have them in there included, and then you can add 2 more as your max. So you can possibly have up to 3 of these guys if you have Moff, but you want 2 of these because his card. And then the programmed loyalty. So the only unit that can issue orders to your Dark Troopers is a commander unit when you have this, because this unit's going to gain retinue from a commander. So again, even if you didn't have Moff Gideon, as long as you had a commander nearby, they're going to be able to gain an aim or a dodge. But they're only going to be able to be issued orders by a commander, not an operative. So no Iden, no Boba Fett, nothing like that. No, I mean Boba Fett, I'm sure can't give them an order because they're not the same rank anyway. But yeah, so boom, there is that. And so yeah, let's go ahead and go over some lists that I've created. I've done 2 lists, and they both have just 2 Dark Trooper units in there, but I've kind of given Moff Gideon what I think are at least some of the necessary upgrades. So I think aggressive tactics is actually going to be really good on him. One, because again, Entourage is going to go ahead and give one of these Imperial Dark Troopers a surge token because they're going to get an order. And so that's a phase up order token, and you'll be able to give them a surge. And then maybe you decide to keep the Dark Trooper unit with programmed loyalty near him to always get that order, so that they can also benefit from gaining an aim or a dodge, but they don't have outmaneuver. So they can't cancel crits with that dodge, sadly. So you're probably just better off giving them an aim all the time, and cover's not going to benefit for them anyway. So yeah, you're just better off getting an aim, and that's all that this is going to do. It's 5 points of gaining an aim, which is kind of terrible, but it's also not that terrible. It just kind of depends if you want the aim or not, the free one. And then I didn't put one on these guys again because of the 2-pip, and I'll explain in a minute. But I've got the frag and the the XS for assault cannon on here because they're going to be, again, close to Moff and kind of protecting him. They're kind of going to be his bodyguards and try to shoot as far as possible. And then these Imperial Dark Troopers, I planned on using the 2-pip for because the 2-pip states that this card cannot be chosen during the first round. After orders have been issued, choose a friendly Dark Trooper unit that has a face-up order token. So it can be these guys, but you're about to move them across the board, or you're about to move them probably away from Moff Gideon into enemy territory or just into a safe zone. So they're never going to be near a commander. Now, if you had another commander in your list, then sure, you might as well include programmed loyalty for that extra aim. But honestly, these guys are probably going after an objective or something like that, because the 2-pip, again, basically just states that you remove the unit from the battlefield, keeping all tokens. And the objectives, if we look at it, let's just say recover the supplies, right? So at the end of the game, each player gains a victory token for each objective token. So it's a token. So that's why I'm assuming that at the moment they'll be able to take the hostage or supplies or whatever and go with it. That might be mentioned in the rules at some point, but right now it's not. Oh, now I've been seeing a lot of controversy, if you want to call it that, about who can be in the personnel slot, right? So Imperial Comms Tech, the medical droid, all of this stuff. Well, they can't be healed, so there's no point in bringing this EV series medical droid. It's a droid trooper unit, so I doubt that you're going to be able to have an Imperial Comms or an Imperial officer or a medical droid or a PK series droid or an astromech. You might be able to have the droid trooper, sure, but again, these are all CIS, but there's no point in having some of these guys because they can't heal themselves. So the PK series worker droids it's just no point for that. And the astromech, there's just no point for that. And then the tactical series droid with the 1 health. And now I can see the fact that, something with 1 health indicated on here might have been up there, but I feel like this is for specifically for CIS, and the only upgrade you're probably going to be able to add to the Imperial Dark Troopers is the Imperial Dark Trooper itself, because I mean it's a unit of droid Dark Troopers that were in the ship and a whole bunch of other stuff, in the Imperial factories. They're not going to mix them. They want a good platoon of specifically Dark Troopers, so I doubt that they're going to be able to involve any of these, and you're not going to be make an Imperial officer 2 health. Okay, so I just feel like all of these, it's just not going to happen. It's just probably going to be the Imperial Dark Trooper, which I see makes the most sense. Now, with these Imperial Dark Troopers that I would be using to send either into enemy lines with this card or away from enemy lines to protect the objective would be the assault cannon and the myrtleizer. Just in case anyone dares to get close, the myrtleizer is going to be able to do its job. And then the assault cannon, its critical 1, will be able to do really, really well. If you wanted to switch out the assault cannon for the frag launcher, I can see that too. Mostly just because of blast, giving them no cover because you don't surge. So that would be okay. But, I think critical 1 is actually not that bad. And then again, if you were able to give them a surge token from the aggressive tactics because you gave them an order, then that's going to help out a lot. But yeah, I would keep at least 1 Dark Trooper near Moff that's kind of good and decked out, and then the other Imperial Dark Trooper that doesn't have anything really as the one that's going to be maneuvering as much as possible. Now, with the Stormtroopers, you have to have your 3 core. So I gave them the 3 core, but I added an extra Stormtrooper in there, mostly because of Moff Gideon's Ruthless. So when a friendly core trooper unit at range 2, okay, I feel like that needs to be like at range 1 to 2, but that's just me. So at range 2 and in line of sight, and it has a face up order token, it can suffer a wound to perform a free action. I don't see why it wouldn't be 1 to 2. It should be 1 to 2, honestly. I don't see why anyone would object to that. I mean, your opponent wouldn't object to it because you're giving yourself a wound and decreasing your unit size by 1. So I don't see why your opponent would be upset if it was range 1 to 2. But yeah, so maybe you just need it. But it's a free action, and it's probably not an attack, another free attack action. It's probably just like another move or an aim, dodge, standby. If you're not going to attack, maybe do a move, standby, or something like that if you needed to. But yeah, you can honestly also change these out, the Stormtroopers out for Snow Troopers because of steady. So, you might be able to actually do more with that because if you were able to give them a free, action, you can move, take an, let's see, you can aim and then do a move and then do the free move by taking someone away. And then you can proc steady. And then, like I said, 2 speed 1 moves are a little bit farther than a 1 speed 2 move. So that actually might do really, really well, but you got to have some sort of buffer for them in order for that to happen. And then I gave 3 strike teams to be able to just kind of do what they can with Pierce and long distance to help out the Imperial Dark Troopers, or to at least kind of do more in the back. But yeah, and then, I just did ambush, push, and coordinate fire. So I can give the snows or the storms, whichever one you decide, to the same points. the orders, so that way they can share their aims at range, I think 1 to 2. Yeah. Possibly giving the Imperial Dark Troopers way more aims so they can do way more damage since they don't surge. And they might even get the surge from aggressive tactics. That'd be awesome. So with this one, you're giving it to 2 units. You don't have to give it to one of these because of Entourage. We'll go ahead and give it to them. You give one of your other Dark Troopers the order, and then maybe you give Moff Gideon the order. So now you have the most important right here with orders, and then the other guys, when you can draw them out of the bag, they don't need necessarily the orders. Then, Moff Gideon doesn't need any aggressive tactic stuff. So if you did maybe want to just give a snow trooper unit the order, then sure, by all means, that's fine. But it's just kind of up to you. It depends on who you want to have some surge tokens for. Now, yeah, with moment of consideration, being able to have fire support when you don't have it right now with the new pass mechanic is actually going to probably be very, very powerful. And then maybe you give it to, maybe you give it to your core, and because they've got surge, and then maybe or you give it to the dark troopers, and then you fire with the surge to hit, and then you've got the Imperial Dark Troopers who are adding a critical one and or blast. Maybe you gave it to the Imperial Dark Troopers there. It's just kind of fun, but it has to be the people that you give orders to. So it's not just from Entourage. It's in units issued orders. So maybe you Entourage the other Dark Troopers to begin with, and then you give the order to these guys. You never know. Kind of depends on you. But there's lots of ways to give out the aims and help with fire support and pass. So 9 activations right now I feel like are going to be kind of normal soon because of the pass mechanic and because you can fit more, a little bit stronger units in there. So yeah, that's the first one. The second one is almost the exact same, but with shore troopers instead. Because now you've got 4 core units that you can use Ruthless on, and maybe with the DF90, maybe with the free action, maybe if you needed them to move, by all means, maybe with hostage exchange, because maybe with hostage exchange, the objective, maybe the DF mortar starts out with the hostage, and maybe you do, a move, and then you do a free action and take a dodge or something like that. That way you can get farther and do more. Because as far as I know, you're only allowed 2 move actions, period, 1 attack action, and then you can only do 1 of everything else. So it just kind of limits you in a little way. Can't do 3 moves, but yeah, the free move always helps, or the free action is always going to help, especially on a mortar that's got 3 health. Maybe they're in the back, or maybe again they just need to keep moving for whatever reason. Then by all means. And then I added that extra shore trooper in there just to be able to sacrifice if you need to use Ruthless. Again, it's 9 acts and very, very similar command cards is what I would choose. There's not really a bid, but at least you've got upgrades on every one of your units. And so I think the Darksaber will be good on Moff Gideon, mostly just to keep him alive and to hand out that Demoralize and make him immune to Pierce. That way, he just kind of survives a little bit longer. He's not impervious, so it's not really going to help with the Beskar looking armor. And then again, aggressive tactics is what I've chosen to be able to give, hopefully, the Imperial Dark Troopers a surge at least to use for either offense or defense to make it a little bit better. It's just honestly, if you don't want aggressive tactics, you don't have anything that's got inspire. So it might be good to maybe change that out for if you had to maybe lead by example. I wouldn't go with strict orders because, I'd probably go with lead by example. That's a little bit better in my opinion because of what you're doing here. You're giving those commands to, let's see, just him and or just one other unit. And then, with pinned down, that actually wouldn't be that bad. So, maybe you went with pinned down, you gave the heavies the order. I mean, you can only give it to them, and with Entourage, they would already have it. But at least if they did make an attempt, especially with their range 1 to 3 stuff, try to shoot at someone, it would work. But that's just up to you. I'd probably go with push, possibly. And then definitely the other, you have something I want. You might not need coordinated fire because of coordinate. So you might as well just give the shore troopers the order, which will hopefully coordinate to them, and then you can give that extra order to maybe Moff Gideon or something like that. And then the Imperial Dark Trooper has entourage and has an order. So maybe, assault and moment of consideration would be the better options. But again, if you wanted to share those aims and put those aims on someone else, then go with it. But you don't, I mean, unless you're super far away from your mortars, your shores are far away from your mortars, it's not gonna. You're only gonna give out 2 orders. So I'd rather just be able to give out that extra third order. So yeah, guys, that's really it. Both non-activations. I'll leave these, in the description below so that you guys can check it out and or use these if you wanted to, or just manipulate it or kind of anything like that. I didn't do objectives, deployment, and conditions, which I'll do after this, so you don't have to sit through it. I'll kind of pick what works. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't already, go ahead and join the Patreon. Go ahead and support it. Support this channel. It'll really, really help. And I'm gonna start again closing out with the little thing at the end for you guys to see who is what in the Patreon, and then go ahead and head to the Discord again. Start adding whatever you can to it and ask questions. Do what you want. I've got some great help here with the Chosen One and Emperor Atlantis. For everyone in the Patreon, you'll have the Patreon chat, the Patreon giveaway stuff, the video ideas. If you've got some, or if you want to add something to it, just let me know. And then list building help specifically for some people who need it and want to have a kind of like one-on-one, and that is specifically for Patreon users who have, I think, who is a shadow operative and a shadow clan commander. So yeah, go ahead and join and do everything there. And if you haven't already, head to theburnacademy.com and subscribe for $15 a month to get those workouts and kind of help you out a little bit more. Yeah, right. So here is Kitsune, and this is what you guys will see at the end of each video. Now, I am hoping to work on OBS soon and get a little bit more familiar with it so that I can be on that. You won't have to see me on Zoom like this, and I'll actually be able to bring this up a little bit better at the very end and full screen. But just for now, for the Special Forces leader, Kitsune, I appreciate your help, and you are the VIP right now and getting all of the Patreon benefits. So yeah, hopefully you guys will join him, and I will see you guys there, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. May the force be with you.